All right, guys, 76 degrees outside, a little breezy, and it's 45 degrees in the water. So today's message comes from Stay Safe Martial Arts. He's talking specifically about like self-defense classes, but it's also applicable to like in-service type training or required training for your department. In a nutshell, and the things that I really picked out from what he was saying was that training or in-service training should be a quote-unquote gateway drug into more training. The training you go to, the 4 to 6 hours to 2 hours, whatever it is that you do in service, or you go to a seminar or something, and that should lead to more training. Just like in jiu-jitsu, you go to a seminar by some big famous super hotshot guy. You learn for 1, 2, 3, 4, even an hour, and you should go back and start practicing those things. Just learning like, okay, cool, I'm good. Just like that, your in service, your defensive tactics, that should lead you to going back and train on your own. That should encourage you to train. And the other thing that they should have or involve is some kind of stress testing. I've taught a lot of defensive tactics type stuff to a lot of different people, and one of the things I hear consistently is that doesn't work. That's not right. And it's not that the move doesn't work. As always, if we had one move that worked 100% of the time, that's the only move we would teach. But because there's lots of moves and moves fail, we have a move and then we have a contingency to that counter, and that counter has a contingency to that. We teach those. We teach the move and then we teach the contingency, and then from that we stress test it. We start with little to no resistance, and then you build that up. And that's where I think a big failure is. We get to the point where like, all right, this is how you do a takedown, and then we show the takedown and they're like, cool, now let's move on. Well, no, let's do that takedown. Now let's learn those contingencies. Now let's go and add a little bit of resistance, and then let's kind of fix those things, and let's build up on that. One of the major problems is we try to add too many things in one session or one session of training. So if we focus on 20 moves in a couple hours, it breaks down to like 20 minutes per move. And if you've learned any kind of defensive tactics, striking combinations, like more advanced techniques, or try to learn one technique really well, you can spend a whole hour on just something as simple as the Kimura and its contingencies and finishing mechanics and all those different things. Just like when you're doing takedowns or police enforcement takedowns, you could spend an hour just on like that armbar style takedown or that 2-on-1 takedown, and those contingencies and the mechanics, and then stress test it and make sure you do it live against a resisting opponent and find those problems, and then go back to that instructor and say, hey, what am I doing wrong here? I keep having this issue. And then hopefully you have a good instructor that can break that down. Guys, it's freaking awesome. Go train. As Chad always says, train a lot. Guys, stay chilly, stay frosty, keep improving. Stay chilly, stay frosty, and keep improving. And subscribe.